Brought to you by Hallow, the world's #1 prayer app.
So my question for you is, how do I go about the holidays when my husband and his brother physically fought over me last holiday?
Like they did a duel? Like for your heart or affection? What happened?
No. So the backstory is this. My husband and I have been together 10 years, married 5. Roughly about 5 or 6 years ago, his brother started to act like I didn't exist in the world. In the beginning, when it happened, I kind of thought, oh, maybe he was having a bad day, but then it continued to happen. And
did something happen to precipitate this, or did he just start ignoring you?
He just started ignoring me. Nothing happened pre this, in the years before this happened. And I would bring it up to my husband as like, hey, did you see that too? And he's not a confrontational person, so sometimes he'd be like, well, he didn't say hi to me either. But it started to get where it was more obvious and obvious. Years would go by, I would say something, and then I got to my threshold and basically like told my husband he needs to say something because it's his brother. And so they did it at Thanksgiving last year. And when my husband confronted him, his brother said some very rude things about me. And so my husband punched him. And then that turned into a verbal argument for about 30 minutes that I, too, also engaged with because his wife jumped in and started to attack my husband. And I wasn't going to let that happen.
Jerry!
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it felt. And then since that, like, we left, his brother said some very mean things about me. He called me a lot of names. We've unfortunately had 4 miscarriages, and he threw that in my face. And said we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose any babies. And when he said that, I thought my husband was really going to murder him.
Yeah,
because
fair enough, dude.
Went into complete like anger rage, and my husband is a very laid back person. I've never seen him like that ever.
Was it kind of hot?
Yeah, a little bit. I told him afterwards, I was like, geez, it's nice to see the fight in you.
I knew it.
But since then, obviously we left and everybody's emotions were very high. We, a week or 2 later, went back to because this happened at my in-laws' house. We went there and had a conversation with them and apologized to them about like what happened because it's still their home. And, we kind of just told them then, like, we don't want to be around him. We don't want to see him. We don't want to be around their family. And, everybody, meaning my in-laws and my sister-in-law, who was also there, they all wanted to have this big conversation, this big meeting and have a family meeting, but it never happened. And this literally got swept under the rug and no one since then has brought it up.
Yeah. So this is simple. Your husband calls your brother. Your husband calls his brother.
Okay.
It's 2 grown men. They got into it. And there can be 1,000 different reasons, like different opinions or whatever. He calls his brother and says, are we cool? And are you going to honor and respect my wife or no? And if not, then the family is choosing, and the family chooses to have him over. They're choosing to not have you guys over.
Okay.
It's that simple. I'm not going to go be around a situation that I know is going to provoke violence, and it's not going to do it. When somebody makes a comment like about miscarriage and stuff like that, I've been open about our story too. We've had a number of those too. That is not somebody who's making a comment about miscarriages. That is somebody just grabbing knives and trying to stab you.
Right.
They're trying to hurt you at the deepest possible way. And right. I've got about as much use. I have no interest in being in their presence.
Okay.
And I'm a grown-up. And what that means is y'all might have to grieve a picture y'all had of what Thanksgiving was going to look like.
Right.
And that sucks. You and your husband might have a fight. You might have a deep disagreement because he might feel this pull to honor his mom and dad, and his head means going and sucking it up, and he's going to do this.
Yeah, that's kind of like where we're at. We're both on the fence. I mean, we both want to go in the aspect of seeing, his family, meaning his sister and his mom and dad and our daughter and their kids playing. But then we're on the majority of our feelings are we don't want to be around him.
Think of this in a different way. if his parents have not called this to a head and are
Correct.
trying to pretend it never happened or trying to avoid a confrontation, behavior is a language. They are telling you, we'd rather y'all not come this year. Because y'all were very clear about, I'm not going to go in a situation where it's going to be violence. I don't want my daughter seeing me fly off the handle like that. And I don't want my daughter seeing somebody talk to their mom that way.
Right.
Not going to do that.
Right.
And so, mom, dad, if y'all don't want to deal with this in the home, cool. We get the message. Y'all don't want us here, and that's fine. It breaks our heart, makes us sad. We're going to grieve it, all those things. But we get the message. And there is the two male grown-ups acting like two male grown-ups.
Right.
And calling each other on the phone. And if the brother doesn't want to ask, then you got all the answers you want. You got answers that you need. The thing that you guys can turn this and be real mature about it real fast is considering it a won and a loss. If he gets to go, that he wins. And if you don't get to go, y'all lost. And if you start keeping score like that, then it's not going to be about healing a family. It's not going to be about people respecting and treating each other with dignity. It's going to be about winning and losing, and no relationship survives that.
Okay.
And so take the one-loss nonsense off the table. You're just going to get a real clear picture of everybody's revealed character. And fire does that. It reveals.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because it's kind of, I mean, that's kind of how I feel. It's kind of like, he thinks he did nothing wrong, so he's going to just go, and we have to sit with this, like, this happened and nothing's been said about it or talked about, and it's still very real for me.
So listen, everybody lost. Nobody won. So if he shows up all like, hell yeah, he shows up to this thing and y'all are gone, everybody lost. He lost. Your parents lost. The cousins lost. Everybody lost.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all show up and there's no brother and it's like, yeah, he doesn't get to come here anymore because of what he said, everybody lost. So take the one loss off.
Okay.
What I want you guys, you and your husband, to do is to be real sad about this.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys reverse engineer what's a great Thanksgiving look like. And it might be inviting some people from your office who don't have anywhere to go. It might be what we do in my house. We do it at Easter. It's Easter of randos. We got the wildest eclectic group of people: songwriters, lawn people, bankers, university executives, my tattoo artist and her family. I mean, it's just random people. It's so great. Okay. But in a perfect world, our families will all be here. They can't travel this far.
Right.
And so we're sad about that. And then we go do the next right thing.
Now, if we decided as a family to go, how would you say we should approach,
I would not walk into that situation unless your husband has called his brother, and settled it.
And had a conversation.
That is taking a lit match and a can of gasoline to a situation that's stupid. Somebody's going to get shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that conversation's ever going to happen because his brother is not willing to have that.
I know, but I want your husband to be a person of character and integrity, somebody who stands up for his wife, and also somebody who tries to heal important relationships.
Okay.
I want him going to bed at night knowing I made 3 phone calls and he didn't respond.
Okay.
I don't want him going to bed going, well, if I even call, he's not even going to answer it, because nobody knows to make that call.
Okay.
But yeah, I would absolutely 1,000% you are inviting trouble. And what do you do for a living?
I am a 911 operator.
Okay. I thought they had mentioned something about that. So 1016s, domestics is where most people die.
Right.
Not doing that. I'm not setting that up.
Right. And that's kind of how I felt. With the way that I was raised and what I saw, I told my husband before we even had our daughter, I never want her to be in that type of environment. And so that means we have to cut people out. We cut people out.
Can I tell you one more weird thing?
Families.
And I'll get some grief about this on the internet. There may come a time when you make peace with him going and you not. and him saying, I want to go see my mom and dad, and I know it's chaotic and wild, and it's not giving in, and it's not but I want to go see my mom and dad, and you go, yeah, absolutely, go see your mom and dad. That's important for you to see them. As bad as they've fumbled this whole situation, and imagine they're broken hearts. They got their two boys in the living room fighting and saying vile, evil things to each other, and being powerless and like just overcome. Like, fine. There may be a season when, not this year, but there may be a season when you say, go see your mom and your dad. I'm not going to go. They've made it clear what they think about me, and that's fine. Go see your mom and your dad. And then when we come home, we'll do X, Y, and Z. I think that's fair, too. If y'all agree on that and y'all want to set that, he may say, no, forget that. I'm not going on anything without you. Great. Y'all get to decide that, but that's for the future. This year, we're going to be sad. Download the Hallow app today and get 3 free months at hallow.com/Delony.